They say that a lie gets halfway around the world before the truth has a chance to get its pants on. And in this current social media climate where people rarely read past an article's headline, and viral posts are taken at face value without the slightest attempt at fact-checking, this statement has never been truer. Countless people will come into contact with a full story if it's tantalizing enough, but far fewer will ever see the inevitable correction. And once the world's attention is moved on, the people involved are left to fix the damage done by the spectacle. Consider the story of Heidi Yeh, the model in this viral image. You might remember hearing about the Chinese man who sued his wife after they had ugly kids. He said that she deceived him by having plastic surgery and the Chinese courts awarded him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or did they? Of course, that story wasn't true, but thousands of people, maybe millions, fell for it. So what happens when strangers all around the world are manipulated into having the wrong opinion about you? Find out in this episode of Tales from the Internet. This episode is sponsored by NordVPN. Copyright laws are changing all over the world, involving images like the one in this video. With servers all around the world, NordVPN can help you access region-locked content that would normally be blocked from your view. Additionally, it can encrypt data sent from your devices, protecting you while connected to shady public Wi-Fi. Just go to nordvpn.com/Whang for 75% off a 3-year deal and use code Whang for an extra month. Urban legends have been a staple of the internet for as long as people have been communicating with each other online. And while it can often be annoying when the people around you are falling for them, for the most part they're pretty harmless. Think back to the infamous lobster story that I covered a few years ago on this channel. Even though there's no possible way it's true, tons of people still fell for it, but at the end of the day, maybe you shouldn't do that with a lobster. It's sound advice. It's when an urban legend takes the leap to full-fledged fake news that it becomes a problem. It becomes dangerous and it can hurt real people. And that's exactly what happened to Heidi Yeh. It begins in October of 2012 when this story started to go viral. A man from northern China divorced and sued his wife earlier this year for being ugly. That's not a joke. Neither is this. That man recently won the lawsuit. That man is Jian Feng, and he said his issues with his wife's looks only began after the couple's daughter was born. Feng was appalled by the child's appearance, calling her incredibly ugly, and saying she resembled neither one of her parents. With that being the case, Feng initially accused his wife of cheating. It was at that point that his wife, who had not been named, came forward, saying she had spent $100,000 on intense plastic surgeries to drastically change her appearance before she met Feng. She never told Feng about these surgeries. When Feng found out about the procedures, he filed a lawsuit. He said the woman convinced him to marry her under false pretenses. A judge agreed, awarding Feng $120,000. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and I know even less about the laws in China, but I'm pretty sure that you can sue someone over ugly babies. I mean, even with the plastic surgery, I've known some pretty good-looking people who had no plastic surgery to my knowledge and still managed to pop out some pretty fucking ugly babies. And even if you could sue, $120,000 seems a bit high. But like I said, I don't know Chinese law, and maybe a big reason why this story propagated so much is because people are like, oh, China's a mysterious land with mysterious customs. But that's neither here nor there, because the story can actually be traced all the way back to 2004. That's when it was reported in a Chinese publication called the Heilongjiang Morning Post. And the thing about that publication is that it has a history of publishing made-up stories. Essentially, it'd be like sharing an article from the Weekly World News as fact. But that did not stop it from being reported by the Huffington Post, the New York Post, the Daily Mail, Fox 31, the Irish Examiner, and the Mirror as a legitimate story. But you might have noticed from these articles that I just showed you screenshots of that they're using a different picture. To get the full story, we're gonna need to go back to the beginning of 2012. There's this up-and-coming Taiwanese model named Heidi Yeh. She's getting a ton of work, TV ads, magazine ads, she's doing real good. Then one day, she accepts a job for a print advertisement for a plastic surgery company. That's when she takes this photo. It depicts two very good-looking parents with three really ugly kids. And it has a caption that roughly translates to, "The only thing you have to worry about after plastic surgery is the explaining you'll have to do to your children." And people might be like, oh, that's mean, but the thing is, the kids' faces are photoshopped, and the Chinese in general just tend to not get butthurt about those kinds of things like we do in the West. It's just a silly ad to promote a plastic surgery company. So the picture does its job and Heidi moves on with her life and her career, but then, later on in 2012, the picture appears once again. This time, it's on the Facebook page of another plastic surgery company. And once that thing gets on Facebook, it starts to circulate. At first, it's mostly ordinary memes like this demotivational poster, which even by 2012 standards is pretty boomer-ish. Shit doesn't really hit the fan until someone on Facebook decides to combine the story about the man who sued his wife over ugly kids with the plastic surgery ad. Which honestly doesn't really even make that much sense. I mean, look at the picture. Does this guy look like he's unsatisfied with his hot wife and his ugly kids? But there's no room for common sense when it comes to these kinds of things. This point is when the story goes super viral and thousands of people are sharing it all over Facebook. Not only are people sharing the post, but people are taking the picture, taking the story, and re-uploading it on their own pages, because that's what people do on Facebook, steal content. And on top of that, now some news outlets are taking the story, publishing it again, now with the picture. And of course, you've got those soldiers out there fighting the good fight, trying to debunk it in the comments section, and you've got some publications that published retractions, but there's just no fighting against the Zerg rush of human stupidity. Once the story's out there at that magnitude, it can't be controlled. Meanwhile, back in Taiwan, Heidi was none the wiser until the story made its way to a Chinese tabloid. In an interview with BBC, Heidi describes what happened next. "When I first heard about this from a friend, I thought it was just a one-off rumor," said Miss Yeh. "Then I realized the whole world was spreading it and in different languages. People actually thought it was real. Even my then-boyfriend's friends would ask about it. The picture and accompanying stories came up on Google in several languages, including Arabic, English, and Japanese, and have become a global meme. People refused to believe that I had never had plastic surgery. Clients would ask me if I was the woman in the picture. After this, I only got small roles in advertisements. It also," she says, "affected her personal life. She suspects her then-boyfriend broke up with her partly because he was embarrassed by the rumors. She says relatives and her current fiancé's family have also asked about them. Strangers would spot her in public and gossip about her," she adds. So with her personal life messed up and her career in shambles all due to a fake news story, what's left to do except start suing people? But she knows enough to know that you can't go and sue the entire internet. Once it's out there, it's out there. But as of 2015, she says that she is pursuing legal action against her former modeling agency as well as the plastic surgery company that posted the ad to Facebook. And while you might be thinking that, well, she signed her rights away, she has a contract, that may not necessarily be so. According to her claims, she only gave rights for that single print ad. She claims that she granted no rights for online publishing and she never gave permission to reuse the image. And in response to that, both companies say that they're gonna sue her back. As of the making of this video, there doesn't seem to have been any resolution to this case, but if it does happen, I'll keep you updated. So what can we learn from this? For the love of God, please do a little bit of fact checking before spreading around ridiculous inflammatory stories. Anyway, if you like this video, you'll probably also like my Brian Peppers video, which contains its own fair share of fake news. I'm out.